Welcome back to another episode, and today we got a man who needs absolutely no introduction. Grant, your book, The 10X Rule, literally changed my life. I don't know, this was 6-7 years ago, literally the entire course of my life, and I want to get into that story in a second, but I thought we're getting so many comments, so many messages from people saying, what do we do right now? And there's so much fear, there's so much, I think, misinformation out there, and I don't want to get into the actual coronavirus. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I don't know much about the actual mutation, but the mentality that's going around it. And I haven't been through a recession or a pandemic or something like this, but this is not your first rodeo. And I think that 10x mentality and everything you stand for is exactly what the world needs right now. So I'm really excited to have you on the show. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing to help spread a little bit of solution, rather than just news that in most cases is old, not true, rumors. Got a bunch of most of the media that we get today has got underneath it a lot of hidden, some not even hidden agendas.
Yeah, for sure.
And so let me just share with everybody my agenda. My agenda is to just share with you what I'm doing right now to get me through this, and my family and my employees and my customers. And you can take it, leave it, use it, throw it away, but everybody needs help right now.
Yeah, and I think it's really a mental game, and I think you that whole 10x, I mean, you got the 10x hat on right now. I think it's the essence of really getting through this thing. And right before, I've got to pay my respects. First thing I want to say is 6 or 7 years ago, I had a small business, thought I was doing great, making a little bit of money, and I stumbled across the 10x book. I think it was 6 or 7 years ago. And at that point, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And I was kind of burning out. I just didn't know what the hell was going on. So I took the little money I had. I set off on a 6-month motorcycle trip from Vancouver to Panama, living in a tent for 6 months, trying to find myself. And all I did was read this book literally on repeat. And I had audiobooks playing under my helmet. And I got a 6-month masters of Cardone 10x thinking education for that 6 months. Came home, and it's just like, If I didn't stumble across that and get online, I'd be in a lot of trouble right now. Luckily, we moved the whole business online 3-4 years ago, and so nothing changed that much for us. But I know a lot of people are hurting right now. But I do just want to give you, honestly, credit for that whole 10x way of thinking. And I think if you're not familiar with Grant or the 10x book, literally right now, go on Amazon. I know it's $20, $25, but buy it, download it, do what you got to do, borrow it from someone, read it. Because it's going to help you like crazy. And Grant, on that show, I
have a site up right now where if you're a reader, go to grantcardone.com. You can buy it there for under $10.
Perfect.
It's actually cheaper than Amazon because I'd rather have the relationship with the customer and lose money.
Perfect.
You can get it from Amazon as well. You'll see, I don't know, 500 or 600 reviews on the book. But the other thing you can do, and I'll get my guys to send you a link on this. There's a way to get the audio program right now for $1. It's a 5-hour audio program.
Perfect.
And it's audio and video on what somebody should be doing right now. Just so everybody knows, the 10X rule was written a few years back, but it was about what I used to actually build my name and my brand up at a time when the world was imploding on itself. So the book is perfect for what we're going through right now, because what we're going through right now will affect everyone, everybody's family, all your dreams, any momentum that you had going, possibly your job, certainly your status, certainly your confidence. And that book is really about how to get yourself in a situation where you're better, bigger, if you want to be better and bigger, and unstoppable, because you will be different on the other side of this thing that we're going through. The question is, will you be good different or bad different? Because you will not be the same. There's no being the same. At the beginning of 2020, I did 7 cities in January, and everywhere I was going to, I'm like, who thinks 2020 is going to be better? Everybody was like, yes, It's going to be the greatest year of my life. I'm like, hey, not for everybody.
Yeah. I'll take that a step further. If you are a client or have been a client of us, shoot me an email, lucas@lucasrubix.com. We'll get you the book off the website. And we do giveaways every Tuesday. We're giving away $500 today, but next week we'll give away 10 books. That's how I'm like, I had very little luggage space on the motorcycle, if you can imagine. Bare necessities. And I made enough room for that 10X book over, whatever I needed back in the day. So I do want to thank you for that. I don't know what I'd be doing right now without that. That being said, Grant, I Googled your name, a few days before this because I like to see what's current, and I could not imagine. And I don't want to lean on this and focus on this, but I thought it was just like, what the hell is wrong with people? I Google your name, and the amount of, I understand from a marketing perspective, these guys trying to like get views and get momentum off your name, and why the mentality of wanting or just seething at the teeth of wanting to see someone fail, which I know you won't. Like you're a beast, but all this hate on YouTube and Google, and I'm just like, these people are in a dark little basement. I don't know what they've accomplished, and I don't think they're killing it out there, and they're posting all this stuff. Why all of a sudden do you think? And I don't want to focus on this; it's not important, but I think I want to bring it to light. I was ready to go in the comments and like start battling, but I got shit to do, so I didn't. But what's going on? Like, why do you think people in times like this, like, is it to feel better? What's up?
People are re-stimulated. People are scared right now about that maybe their situation is at risk. And so the way not to accept something is to basically deny it, or to get angry about it, or to bargain with it. And try to reduce anger and blame is not acceptance. Acceptance is when you get through a loss. Okay, a loss doesn't have to be a person or a dog. It could be the loss of security, the loss of normalcy, which the whole world is going through right now. Who would have thought we'd be wearing masks, not able to talk to other people, quarantined in our homes? I mean, everybody's had the thought or said to somebody else, can you believe we're going through this? So just the loss of something, stability, throws people into this sense of loss. And then there's a response. Okay, I deny that it's happening. Now I'm angry that it's happening. Now I'm looking for somebody to blame that it's happening. I'm probably going to bargain and say, it's not going to be that bad. You see people do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're going to probably move into some depression and sadness and grief about your losses, feel bad about yourself. The first one is anger. And so it's not surprising to me the second one's anger. It's denial and then anger. When you're blaming, accusing, finding targets, it's like I watched Ackman the other day. He shorted the market. He invested $28 million in shorts, made $2 billion in a period of 3 days.
Oh.
The whole world turned on this guy's like, he's a predator.
Yeah.
People hating on him. My 10-year-old, what did you say, Sabrina?
He got $2 billion.
He made $2 billion.
Yeah.
She says, why you on somebody that just had a score? The score of a lifetime, by the way.
Yeah.
And everybody forgets that he's the one that put the $28 million at risk.
Yeah.
And not one person that's hating on Bill Ackman that doesn't wish they made that bet.
Yeah.
Now, I know some of the people that are hating on me right now, dude, they want to see me burn. They want to see me crash in flames, and like somehow that's going to become something somehow that makes them and their family or their legacy better or their channel better or whatever.
Feel better or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. If you open the store up and it says, at this store, our product is to hate on others, that store probably won't have any revenue.
I think it's the worst. I mean, from a marketing perspective, I understand why they're doing it, but I think it's the worst. I mean, I would not work with somebody who builds their channel and builds their viewership up through that. But I just thought it was insane. 5 years ago, you Google it. I mean, I guess that's the price of.
What I think of it. I had one of my guys call me. He told me about some stuff he saw. I'm like, bro, I almost want to share the channel. And he's like, what? I said, and the guy started laughing because he knows me so well. I'm like, these guys all end up, they make videos about me. I don't even have to make the video. Okay. Yeah. When this is all over, all people are going to remember is my name. They're not going to remember what doo-doo said.
Yeah. It's that mentality, man. I love it.
Haters. I would not be who I am today if it was not for haters.
I love that.
Thank God for haters.
I love that. How are you? I want to go through your thought process because I think this is something we can all download. Your thought process, you have a lot at stake, probably, more than most of us. I mean, you've spent 10, 20, 30, 40 years building up your companies. I think you got, I don't know how many companies you got, but you got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of employees, a lot of spinning plates. I've got like 2 people on the team. I know a lot of listeners there's not there's not millions at stake. There's not tens or hundreds of millions or other people's, investments and all this crazy stuff. So I can only imagine. I was thinking about this morning of like, I felt a little pressure in my chest over one or two things. And I'm like, dude, I wonder what Grant is going through. What's your thought process? How are you handling this? And how can we model that?
It's back to what I was saying about like the faster somebody can get through acceptance of where you are and that conditions have changed and that yesterday's over, and move right now into present time and creating a future, the faster you can move through those stages. When I was told maybe less than 3 weeks ago about some things that were going to happen. It actually came from DC. And I immediately started making very, very, very difficult decisions. I accepted what I heard was as the truth. I believed that what was going to happen would then be a worst case scenario. I immediately moved to acceptance. I've had a lot of losses in my life. And going through the stages is a waste of time. It might psychologically be what people have to do or think they need to do, but you don't actually have to go through the dumb stages. The stages are time.
Yeah.
Okay? It's denial, it's anger, it's bargaining, and it's depression. You do not need to go through these stages if you don't choose to.
Right.
You could just skip.
Right to action.
My daughter behind me was like, she's like, when I taught her how to count, I said, look, you count to 10 and then you skip to 100. You don't need 11, 12, 13, 21, 33. They're just modifications of the first 10 numbers. Skip to 100. Learn to skip. You don't have to waste time in sadness if you just get to acceptance. And acceptance is when you're asking someone for help so you can take new actions.
Yeah.
So anyone, your listeners right now, if you haven't already grabbed a mentor in this cycle, we're 3 weeks into this deal. Yeah. If you haven't already reached out to someone and said, I need your help, I want to buy your time and your energy, your resources, like what you're doing right now. I haven't been through this. You have. Hey, help guide and coach me through this. If you haven't got a mentor already, you're not in acceptance.
Totally.
Acceptance always comes with, I raise my hand, I need help. Okay, so the people that are like, you're blaming Trump, or you're blaming China, or you're blaming Korea, or whoever, you're blaming the government. Like it's definitely China's stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
But she's making jokes because she knows it doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter what.
That's right.
What matters is what are you going to do next, and you're going to end up on the other side of this. The cool thing is that everybody's going to get through this. The question though is, do you get through it bigger, better, unstoppable, more confident, or do you get through it with a bunch of YouTube followers that are a bunch of people that are interested in nothing? Like what you said, you're not going to buy products from those people. So like, what's the purpose? Likes and comments?
Yeah.
So again, like, people waking up every day, they're looking at the news. How many unemployed today? If you're looking for the news to tell you how many unemployed, you are not in acceptance.
Yeah. We were just,
Probably going to be 30 or 40 million people unemployed in this country, maybe more. It could be a third of the people that are watching this video right now. The question is, what are you going to do once you're employed? Because the reality is we're all unemployed every day that we wake up. Even with a job, you're unemployed. You don't know.
Yeah.
And if you work for yourself, you're unemployed every second of every day.
Yeah.
Until you get your next work.
Yeah. I love that. For that reason, please, we'll put the link below. If you've ever paid us or our company money, if you've ever been a client or bought something, just let me know through the emails. We'll get you that 10X book. And then Grant's got that audiobook for $1. And I can't stress that enough. The mentality, the mindset of what Grant's talking about is just like, there's one or two ways to look at this. And you're either going to take action through it and you're going to find an opportunity, or you're going to sit around and have Netflix stocks go up because you're downloading all the Netflix shows and waiting for this thing to pass. 7 years ago, that would have been me. And fortunately, a few things have shifted since then. So if someone is... I'm gonna take this one step deeper. I think some people are also facing losses, as in like, at least for what I've seen, the paralyzing, insane fear. Is that a process you have to maybe go through a little bit? Is everybody a little bit different? Like, you've got to go through this grieving process, or you just like...
If you think you do, maybe you do.
Yeah.
Until you don't. I'm not
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going through it. I get to zero as fast as I possibly can. So when I have a loss today, I'm like, okay, go to zero. I have $1.8 billion worth of real estate. I got 150 employees in one company that we run 17 departments, and another company with 350 employees. Okay, I'm like, okay, when this all happened, I'm like, okay, the real estate. Let's say the real estate goes to $1 billion. Let's say it goes to zero. By the way, $1 billion would wipe out my entire portfolio because there's debt on it. So that is a zero for me. Okay, right. So I'm like, what if I go to 0% vacancy on my properties? All my clients go to zero. My income goes to zero. My bank accounts go to zero. I just take myself to zero as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah, yeah. I love that.
And then I'm like, let me deal with zero. What am I going to do now? See, what people are doing is they're starting to they're going to the store to get toilet paper. Dude, you worried about toilet paper?
Yeah.
Toilet paper ain't going to get you this. When you take yourself to zero, wiping your ass will not be the issue.
Yeah.
Because you'll figure out a different way to wipe your ass. There's people that wasted hundreds of millions of dollars on toilet paper unnecessarily. That's not what you do when you're broke.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, crazy.
You don't buy Charmin. You see, it was an incorrect reaction.
Yeah.
Right? Ammunition would be more important.
Yeah.
At that point.
Right. 100%.
So like people have their priorities screwed up because they're just reacting in the masses. So what I did, I just basically wipe out everything. I take a whiteboard like you have behind me, and I just start taking all my assets down to zero. Anything that I thought was going to be comfort or cushion, I'm like, I'm going to zero. Now, what do I do if I'm at zero? Oh, I'm not wasting my time on this. I'm not wasting my time on, what I was doing yesterday was posting an Instagram video. I'm not wasting time on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting time on watching anybody talk about don't monetize your videos. That's a popular thing today.
Yeah.
I need money. Who can give me $1? What do I have to sell for $1? Like, forget what my pricing was yesterday. That doesn't exist. You see, when you go to zero, basically, you're in a restructure mode. You're basically what I'm doing is I'm going through a bankruptcy process in my own mind and saying, I'm coming out a new company. What do I have to do? So I don't have time for grief, dude. It's a selfish, self-centered act.
I love that. We had Robert Greene on the show, who I'm a huge fan of. Stoicism, anything Stoic. It's a philosophy that, along with your books, I was studying. They talk a lot about worst case, or your obituary, or just like what is the worst case that can happen, and come to acceptance for that, because now you can play the game with no fear. And it's something that, I mean, I think you're spot on. Is we're so afraid of losing something instead of looking at how to create something out of all this. And like you said, and I'm all pumped up now, but you're coming out of this either way. You're either going to win or lose, and which side you want to be on.
Yeah, and the reality is, like, if you got to remember, any asset that you have, money, cash, some success, a certificate, whatever, dude, it's probably useless today. Unless it's useless sitting on the wall or in the garage. So the other thing that people need to do, because when you're at zero, what happens is you get very creative at zero. You're not relying on stuff you added. You're like, hey, I'm at zero. Now what? You start looking around and saying, what can I get rid of? Which is what people should be thinking of right now, not what you're going to lose. What do you need to get rid of? Everybody is going to take a hit in this. Everyone. There is not a person on the planet that will not. I mean, unless you were already poor before this, like you were in poverty before this, everyone is going to take a hit. You could be worth 50 billion. You're taking a big ass hit right now. And it just so happens that the people at the top of the food chain, they adjust so quickly. Yeah. And they don't go through the 4 stages. Yeah. They're like, hey, acceptance, let me adapt, let me make a bet, let me push my chips in. I'm going to go in a different direction now. Yesterday was off the table, scrap it. They accept their losses extremely fast. And I've had the opportunity of spending time with some guys who are worth a lot of money. A lot, I mean, billions of dollars. They don't even think about losses the way most people do. They just throw it off, move on. Okay, let me go out, create that situation. That past.
Yeah. So powerful. It's 70 years ago. I'm cheering so hard for you and everyone else who's at the top. I know there's a lot of people they just love to see people fail. 6-7 years ago, I admit I may have been one of those the rich people. They taken away the jobs and they got it easy and they got this. But I mean the shift over the last 6-7 years has been massive. I'm cheering so hard. The value you give. If people want to plug into your world, again, I'll leave the links for the books, and I don't say that lightly. I think I've recommended 2 books before. It's not a massive 600-page book. It's easy to read, and I think it's just if you can adapt 10% of the 10x mentality, you'll come out on top. If people want to get plugged into your world, Grant, I'm going to respect your time here. Where I know you're doing a lot of lives. You got a live going on today. I think you're doing a lot of stuff on IG. Where can people tap in to get value from you, get resources, get your books, get your stuff?
The thing I would recommend is I did a training the other day. It was 2.5 hours. It was free. GrantCardone.com/training. It's free. It's 2 hours about what people should be doing right now to get to full acceptance of the situation and the things that I am suggesting my 150 plus employees do right now. My team, my executives, what my partners, my investors in our real estate, it's exactly what I suggested they do. It's completely free to the public. It's 2 hours long, but sit down and pay attention to it and be ready for a hard message. For those people that want to be mentored or coached by me, you can go to GrantCardone.com/mentor. And we basically spend time with people holding them accountable to making this shift. Again, if you're ready for a coach, you're in acceptance.
Beautiful.
If you're not, do whatever you got to do right now. But the moment you raise your hand and say, I need help, well, I've done this my whole life. My big changes have been when I raised my hand and said, hey, I want help. And I need time from you. Here's some money. I trade money. I trade debt. I trade obligations. Whatever I could trade with somebody to get their attention and say, please, can you help me through this deal? So I can be better, bigger, and unstoppable.
It's so beautiful. If there was one big shift from your books as well, anyone listening, I used to hold on to money so tight, and it's until I started giving it to people to teach me. You always said, I'm not the smartest guy. I don't have an education. I grew up on the oil rigs in a small town. Like, I am not smart, as in the big scale of things, but I just found people who are really good at what they do, like Grant, and just plugged into their world, whether that was from afar, from books and videos, or getting as close as I could, or actually handing over money and just listening to them, taking notes and taking action. I didn't have to be the smartest, but we're always growing. And I see that a very common trend. If you think you're too good for that, or you think you're too smart for that, you've lost the game.
That's a great point you make. We just fed 18,000 people in the Miami market. When you have a loss, okay, the way to get yourself out of that, to look for other people that need help, man. There's nurses, firemen, fire departments, police departments, doctors, counselors that are freaking putting themselves at risk every day for almost nothing. So we went and fed 18,000 of those in the Aventura marketplace. Now's the time to be giving back.
Yeah.
There's no scarcity right now. At the same time, we also let go of a handful of employees that we needed to let go of so that I could actually protect my environment enough, because I couldn't give those people attention, so that we could go back and expand. So people need to know, hey, when do I contract and pull in for a second? When am I charitable? Can I do both at the same time? How do I handle the haters? How do I handle people that are going to try to talk me out of it? How do I handle the people around me that are maybe in denial or anger? And then how do you and your audience expand so that you're in a better place to give more, to help more?
Grant,
appreciate you having me.
Grant, amazing. And again, big virtual handshake. I know there's a lot of hate, a lot of stuff coming against you, but all I'm saying is if it means anything, I'm cheering so hard, and you've given back 100 times over to the world. So appreciate your time. All the links will be below. Grant, we'll be chatting soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So, I don't know when this whole get a job, 9 to 5, play it safe, think small, and hopefully someday retire with enough time to maybe chase my dreams became okay, but for people like you and me, it's not. I'm Rubix, and welcome to the coaching channel, where I continue my mission of setting human beings free.